Good morning, dear learners. I'm gonna to talk you about lesson plan. You see, today's topic is lesson planning. So, what is the aim of the seminar? The aim of the seminar is to teach you how to plan structured lesson, how to motivate students and reduce discipline problems by using good lesson plan and class management strategies. So, what is the objective of the lesson? The objective of the lesson is, at the end of the lesson, learners should be able to write a lesson plan and identify strengths and weaknesses in various class management techniques. So before beginning the lesson, I want to give you two questions. The first question is, what is a lesson plan? The second question is, why lesson plan is important? Now I'll answer these questions. The first question, what is a lesson plan? A lesson plan is a teacher's daily guide for what students need to learn, how it will be taught, and how learning will be measured. Lesson plans help teachers to be more effective in their classroom by providing a detailed outline to follow each class period. So this is a lesson plan. So the second question was, why lesson plan is important? Lesson plan is important for several reasons. The first reason is insurance organization. So what is insurance organization? Lesson plan helps teachers to organize their thoughts, ideas in a clear and concise manner. It helps them to identify the learning aims, objectives, activities, and resources needed to deliver the lesson effectively. So this is the first reason. What about the second reason? The second reason is involves teaching quality. Planning lesson in advance allows teachers to think deeply about the content, delivery, and assessment of their classes. This can lead to more engaging and interactive lesson to follow each class active. So these are importance of the lesson. So having a lesson plan has been carefully constructed for every lesson boosts your confidence and maximizes the possibility of having purposeful learning sessions with your students whenever you enter the classroom. It equips you with learning goals and things you want to achieve them. So, I have a big question for you. Who is the lesson plan for? Majority of people think that lesson plan is for administrators. But others think that lesson plan is only for students. Of course, it's not true, because lesson plan is only for you. I mean, it is only for teachers. Because as I mentioned it before, lesson plan is a teacher's daily guide for what students need to learn, how it will be taught, and how learning will be measured. And also, lesson plan saves teachers' time because you put all the parts of your lesson plan in time. Abraham Lincoln has a wise quote: "If I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I had spent 6 hours to sharpening my axe." So what it means? It means that for an hour lesson, you should spend hours for preparing your lesson. And lesson plan is your axe. So before your lesson, you should sharpening your lesson plan. And then you achieve your aims, objectives, so on. So lesson plan has a system. For this system, we should find the following question. The question is, how do you plan your lesson? What do you include? Now, I'll introduce a few steps before taking your lesson. So you should identify the learning aims, the learning objectives, and you should plan specific learning activities and plan to assess your students' understanding. You see, all these parts make up your lesson plan answers to these questions. You see these questions? So next our presentation, next page our presentation can answer all these questions. So the first of all, the aim include in your lesson plan. 1 and 2 aims are enough for in our lesson plan. The aim normally starts the word to teach. For example, the aim of the seminar is to teach you grammar, for example, to teach you present simple, to teach you new words, so on. The next step includes objective of the lesson. So 1 and 2 objectives are enough for an hour lesson. And result you expect at the end of the lesson. So this is the objective of the lesson. Next is prior knowledge. For this, you should know what students should already know about the topic, and you should know about your students. So next step is gathering materials. You should gather all materials you need to your lesson. Materials are divided into items. So the first item is regular item. The second item is special items. Regular items are pen, book, pencils, papers, and texts. Special items are posters, presentations, and worksheets. So this is our materials. For the next, include method. You can choose very useful method, very useful activities which are suit your lesson, your topic. So the next includes method. For this method, you can choose very useful activities which are suit for your lesson, for your topic. They can be teacher's activity, student's activity, and different abilities activities. So, at the beginning of your lesson, you should take very interesting warm-up activity. If you take physical warm-up activity, it will make your students more active and increase their interest in your lesson. After that, you should introduce your topic, your new topic. For introduction, you should introduce new topic in the introduction, and then you should present the main part of your lesson. For present your main part of the lesson, you should prepare your presentation or posters before your classes. So, next is evaluate your students' understanding. For evaluate, you should check their understanding, and after you evaluate and check, after you have checked it and evaluated your students, you should record their marks. So, the last is checking homework. No, sorry, explanation homework. For this, you should choose a method and write down in your lesson plan how you explain the home task. Explanation home task is very important because they do their home task without you. That's why try to explain your home task clearly. So let's think about the problems that if we don't have plan our lesson, what we'll do. If we don't make our lesson plan, you will face potential problems like aimless, wandering, material is not available, students are worried and misbehave. So instead of this, if you plan your lesson in advance, you will achieve your goals, objectives, and your students will be very active and well behaved. So this is our lesson. I think you have learned how to write a lesson plan, and it helps you to organize your classes well. See you next lessons.